Hi, my name is Stephen Williams, and today I want you to imagine a scenario for me. I want you to imagine yourself as a slave being sold to a particular person or a family. This is not a new experience since you yourself have been a slave for your whole life. You've experienced many families before, some good, some bad, and most of these, whether good or bad, actually gave you some wages each day in return for your service. Once bought by a certain family, you are basically to be their legs for them. You must get them everything they so desire, whether it be food, drink, etc. At the end of dinner, your day is over, and you know you've done a great job. They've not scolded you for anything. You haven't offended them in any way. You feel very accomplished, excited about a job well done. At the same time, you feel exhausted, worn out, and drained. Your back, legs, feet, and maybe even your own head all throb, and all you want to do is sit down. At this time, you say goodbye to the family, and as they get up from the dinner table, and that's it. You leave the house only to realize you've spent all day serving that family for nothing at all in return. They didn't give you anything but a sweet goodbye. You've been their servant, doing everything they've said, fulfilling every request, only to walk away empty-handed. Well, as a server at Chili's restaurant, I know this feeling very well. This, along with many other reasons, is why you should always tip, and you should always tip well. Now let's talk about effects on your servers when you tip well. According to the United States Department of Labor and personal experience, the sad fact is, in Mississippi and Alabama, minimum wage for all tipped employees is $2.13 per hour. This wage usually doesn't even cover a server's taxes, resulting in most good servers' checks being $0. That means that a server's only means of making any money is through the tips that they receive. Tips are a server's rent, they are a server's groceries, they are a server's car payment, a gas bill, anything you can think of. A recent study from Aspen Institute indicates that almost 4 in 10 restaurant industry workers earn at or below the federal minimum wage, even after factoring in tips. As a result, servers experience almost 3 times the poverty rate of the workplace as a whole, and rely on food stamps at nearly double the rate of the general population. Another reason to tip well is just to plain follow the rules of etiquette. According to the USA Today article, Why You Should Always Tip, all the arbitrators of restaurant etiquette, Emily Post, Miss Manners et al., are in agreement. Tips should be 15 to 20% of the pre-tax total bill, and more if your party was particularly demanding and the service was exemplary. A smaller amount means you were dissatisfied. No tip at all means you were actually offended by the service. In both cases, you should take your complaint not to the server, but to the manager. And remember, your waitress in most restaurants did not cook your meal. In these hard economic times, one might be inclined to tip less, but many restaurant owners and the magnates of manners say that it is not fair to the wait person, who is most likely hurting more than you due to those poor wages discussed earlier. Now, let's talk about the benefits of tipping to you, the tipper. This may seem a little off-kilter, talking about how giving up more money would be more beneficial to you, but the research doesn't lie. According to Redding.com, tipping actually benefits the tipper more than it does the server. While the server uses the money they get for rent, groceries, etc., it's fleeting. The benefits of tipping on you are long-lasting on your psyche. Psychologically, tipping makes you feel good. Tipping well is a blast. You admire yourself, and rightfully so. If you leave a surprisingly large tip, the rest of the day you can imagine exactly how that server felt when they got the amazing tip from you. In your head, it seems perfectly reasonable that a server might fall to their knees, crying and clutching your tip in their hands, thanking God for their unknown benefactor. But when you don't leave a tip, you slink out of the restaurant. When you leave a great tip, you float out on a cloud. Tipping will also make you very happy. Whenever I tip, I'm reminded of how much I have to be thankful for. I'm not thinking about my bills or how little I earn. I'm thinking about how nice it is to have excess money to share with other people. I'm learning gratitude for what I have, and gratitude is an incredibly important emotion. It's perhaps the most important emotion. According to a study performed by psychologist Martin Seligman, out of the 24 key factors associated with happiness, gratitude seems to be the most important one. So please, for your sake and the sanity of servers everywhere, take cheap out of your vocabulary and leave $8 instead of your normal $3. Leave 25% instead of your normal 10%. Trust me, you'll give a ray of sunshine to a desperate server, and you'll give yourself a reason to be happier in the long run.